This is HLN for Sunday, April 5th. Hope you're having a great one. I'm Susan Hendricks. Certainly a lot going on today. We want to get you caught up. North Korea carries through on its threat and launches a long-range rocket. We'll have U.S. and world reaction. Also, thousands turn out in Prague to hear President Obama's speech on the future of nuclear weapons. And yet another case of senseless violence. This time, 5 children are the innocent victims. But we start first in North Korea. The communist nation launched a rocket from this site, saying it carried a communication satellite. But the U.S. and its allies believe it was all a cover for testing a long-range missile that could make it to Alaska or farther. One of those allies, South Korea, immediately slammed the rocket launch.
President Lee, during the meeting, heard from Kim Tae-yong, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, about the rocket launch. He asked for close attention to be paid to the situation and to stay cautious. The long-range rocket launch has caused a serious threat to the security of the Korean Peninsula and the world. We cannot contain our disappointment and regret over North Korea's reckless act.
Looking at this animation now, Russia says the satellite reached orbit, but NORAD says no satellite made it that far. Japan says its ships are trying to retrieve suspected rocket boosters that fell into the ocean. The U.S. and its allies also say the launch violates a UN resolution, even if it is really just a communication satellite. The UN Security Council is holding an emergency meeting later today. President Obama, who spoke to a huge crowd in the Czech Republic, says Korea shouldn't get away with this.
North Korea broke the rules, once again, by testing a rocket that could be used for long-range missiles. This provocation underscores the need for action, not just this afternoon at the UN Security Council, but in our determination to prevent the spread of these weapons. Rules must be binding. Violations must be punished. Words must mean something. The world must stand together to prevent the spread of these weapons. Now's the time for a strong international response.
A huge crowd turned out to hear President Obama's speech in Prague today. He said he supports a new effort for the U.S. to ratify the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Former President Bill Clinton signed that treaty back in 1999, but the Senate rejected it. Well, 10 years later, President Obama says the U.S. has a moral obligation when it comes to nuclear weapons.
As the only nuclear power to have used a nuclear weapon, the United States has a moral responsibility to act. We cannot succeed in this endeavor alone, but we can lead it. We can start it. So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
In another key portion of his speech, President Obama said the United States will continue to develop a missile defense system as long as Iran continues to develop nuclear weapons. A murder